Hello students, welcome in today's lecture. Our topic is molecular basis of inheritance, and in this topic up to this lecture we have seen the important points, that is the discovery of the DNA, under which we have discussed the Griffith experiment, Avery McLeod-McCarthy experiment and Hershey and Chase experiment. By this experiment we have concluded that the DNA is the genetic material in every living organism. Then we have seen the packaging of the DNA both in prokaryotes and the eukaryotic cell. Then also we have seen the DNA replication, then the protein synthesis, in which we have seen the transcription and the translation and the genetic code. And after that we have studied the lactoperon, that is the lactose operon in the E. coli bacteria. And in next lecture we have started the point from this molecular basis of inheritance, and that is called as DNA fingerprinting. This DNA fingerprinting technique is also called as the DNA profiling. It is also called as DNA profiling. So another name of this DNA fingerprinting is the DNA profiling. We have studied some part of this DNA fingerprinting. The same point we will revise in this lecture also. See here, we have seen that the chromosomes which are present in the nucleus of our cell, these are called as the carriers of the gene, because on the chromosomes genes are present, and the role of these genes are nothing but they are the unit of the expression of the character in an organism, or they are responsible for the inheritance of the character. That means we have seen that in every individual some characters are like that of their parents. That means the genes which are present in their parents get transferred from parent to their individual, and where in that individual or in that offspring that gene get expressed, and it shows the characters of the parent in that particular individual or the offspring. कारण मुलांच्या मध्ये आई वडिलांचे जीन एक्सप्रेस होतात आणि त्यामुळे मुलं आई वडिलांसारखी कॅरेक्टर दाखवतात. So the genes which are present on the chromosome are responsible for expression of the character, and those characters we can very well observe in the offsprings, and that characters or genes are coming from their parents. Second point is that not only the genes expressed in the offspring, and those genes are from the parent, they get transferred into the offspring and where they get expressed. The genes are also inherited. That means they are get transferred from one generation to the next generation, from parent to their offspring. These genes are transferred. But you should know that we have also seen that the individuals or the offsprings are not exact Xerox copy of their parents, because there are two reasons due to which the children are not exactly similar to their parent. And those reasons we have discussed, that there are the one phenomenon which takes place in the process of meiosis, and that phenomenon we have seen that it is the crossing over. During the cell division, in the meiosis process, there is a crossing over. And what happened in the crossing over? In the crossing over, the two chromosomes, one is called as the chromosome from the mother and another one is called as the chromosome from the father. This maternal and this paternal chromosome cross over with each other, and that process is called as a crossing over. You are well known about the term crossing over, because in the 11th standard during the chapter cell division we have seen that this crossing over takes place in the patching stage of the meiosis. So here what happened, this mother and father chromosome cross over with each other, and this phenomenon we call it as a crossing over. Okay, and in this phenomenon we have seen that here at this point that we have labeled it as a chiasma formation in the patching stage. Here you will see that this mother and father chromosome cross over each other, and there will be mixing of the genes of both mother and father. Okay, and due to which what happens, these chromosomes are passed into their children, but they do not have the same character of the mother and father, because both genes get mixed to each other. Both the genes from mother and father get mixed to each other during this crossing over, and that's why there is a variation will be observed in the children. They are not exact similar to their parent. The children always shows the combination of the character both from the mother and the father, because there is a combined gene transfer in that children through the process of crossing over from the parental genes. This is the one point. But we have seen that what is mean by the fingerprint. Every individual has its unique copy of gene. Every individual has its unique copy of gene, that is called as the fingerprint. That means the fingerprint of one person is not exactly similar to the fingerprint of the another person. So every individual has its own unique fingerprint. It do not similar to the other person anyway, and that's why we have labeled it as, or we have seen it as, a fingerprint means every person has its unique, or it says own copy of gene that is not similar to the another person. Now we have to see that what is meant by DNA fingerprinting and which part of the DNA are used for that technique. So here after this we have seen that how the children are different from their parents. One reason is due to the crossing over, and another reason is that during the gamete formation there may be some type of mutation occur, and that's why due to the mutation the change in the gene of the parent to the children takes place during the gamete formation or during the gamete formation. कारण आपण सांगितलं होतं गॅमेट तयार होत असताना काही वेळा म्युटेशन होतं, म्युटेशन झाल्यामुळे आई वडिलांच्या जीन मध्ये बदल होतो आणि तो झालेला बदल मुलांच्या मध्ये ट्रान्सफर होतो आणि त्यामुळे सुद्धा मुलं आपल्याला आई वडिलांसारखे एक्झॅक्ट दिसत नाही. ओके, सो these are the two reasons, that is the crossing over and the mutation during the gamete formation are responsible for the variation of the character in the children than the parents. Okay, so this is about the introductory part. Fingerprint means every individual or every person has its unique copy of gene, its unique DNA, its unique chromosome, and that is called as the fingerprint. Now we'll discuss what is mean by DNA fingerprinting. DNA fingerprinting means, the definition of this DNA fingerprinting is that in this process there will be identification of the person is carried out. That means with this technique we can identify a particular person. But what is meant by that? So the definition of the DNA fingerprinting is that identification of a person with the help of restriction analysis is called as DNA fingerprinting. See what is the definition is given for DNA fingerprinting. Identification of a person with the help of a restriction analysis technique is called as the DNA fingerprinting. Then what is meant by restriction analysis? Because you have know that the DNA can be cut by an enzyme, and the name of that enzyme is called as the restriction endonuclease enzyme or the restriction enzyme. Okay, what we have seen in our previous lecture, that is the double-stranded DNA can be cut only with the help of an enzyme, and the name of that enzyme is called as a restriction enzyme. So with the help of that restriction enzyme we can cut that DNA and we can analyze that DNA, and with the help of that DNA we can identify a particular person, and that technique is called as a DNA profiling or the DNA fingerprinting. So identification of a person with the help of restriction analysis technique is called as a DNA fingerprinting. Here some students have question, that is which characteristics or what is the application of this DNA fingerprinting. You should know first the applications of the DNA fingerprinting, then only you can understand the definition of this DNA fingerprinting. This DNA fingerprinting is particularly used to identify a person. That means in a rape case, in a murder case, or in a disputed parentage, you have to use this DNA fingerprinting technique. एखाद्या मुलाचे खरे आई वडील कोण आहेत हे शोधण्यासाठी, एखादा क्रिमिनल माणूस कोण आहे ते शोधण्यासाठी, किंवा एखाद्या ठिकाणी रेप झाला असेल तर तो रेप करणारा व्यक्ती शोधण्यासाठी हे टेक्निक वापरलं जातं. आणि म्हणून इथं वापरलेलं आहे वर्ड आयडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द पर्सन. जनरली दिस टेक्निक इज यूज in a forensic science, and in that technique the particularly identification of a person is carried out with the help of this technique. So definition is that identification of a person with the help of restriction analysis is called as a DNA fingerprinting or a DNA profiling. Okay, this is about the definition of a DNA fingerprinting. Now the important thing is that we all know that our DNA is in the packaging of the DNA. We have seen that the length of the DNA, how it gets packed in a prokaryotic and the eukaryotic cell. Okay, so whole DNA is not required for this process. Whole DNA is not required for this process. Only a small fragment of DNA can be used for the DNA fingerprinting technique. What is mean it? See here what method is used that we are going to discuss now. In this DNA fingerprinting, we know that which mechanism generally used. In this process there will be identification of the particular nucleotide sequence from the DNA is carried out. Okay, just we have seen that every person has his unique copy of a gene. Every person has this unique copy of gene. It is do not similar to the other person. That's why there will be a small nucleotide sequences there which can be used for this DNA fingerprinting. And which is that sequence? So see here, we should know that in a world or in a population, 99.9% of the nucleotide sequence in the DNA is similar in all the person. Okay, 99.9% sequence of the nucleotide in a DNA is similar in all the persons. Okay, but here only the small short sequence of nucleotide differ from person to person. What happened here? 99.9% nucleotide sequence is similar in 99.9% sequence of the nucleotide is similar in every individual. Only the short sequence, so it is called as similar in all person. But only the short sequence of nucleotides is variable, is different in every person, and the short sequence of nucleotide which is variable in different person is called as VNTR sequence. It is called as VNTR sequence. What is mean by VNTR sequence? The full form of this is variable number tandem repeat. VNTR means variable number tandem repeats, variable number of tandem repeats. So in each person the nucleotide sequence of their DNA about 99.9% is similar, but a short sequence of nucleotide in the DNA of every person is different, and that short sequence of nucleotide, the name is given is that VNTR sequence, and the full form of VNTR sequence is variable number of tandem repeats. This variable number of tandem repeats generally contain about 20 to 100 base pair. It has 20 to 100 base pair. 20 to 100 base pair means what? This sequence has means every person DNA. Suppose see here, up to this we have seen the definition of this DNA fingerprinting, and here we are discussing the which part of the DNA is used for this fingerprinting analysis. So suppose this is the DNA of a human being. Okay, so about 99.9% DNA sequence is the same in all the person, but the few sequence of the DNA where about 20 to 100 base pairs are present, and that sequence we have named it as a VNTR sequence, variable number tandem repeat. This much sequence of the DNA is only different in person and that sequence is used for the fingerprinting analysis. And see here, important thing is that this VNTR sequence is repeated many times on the DNA. Suppose this is the whole DNA of the human being, up to this portion is the same in all person. So this portion is not used for the DNA fingerprinting technique. Only this portion of the DNA which has about 20 to 100 base pair. Base pair means nitrogen base pair, and this sequence is called as VNTR sequence, and that is used for the DNA fingerprinting analysis. And this sequence is not constant, because if we see this is the whole DNA, then this VNTR sequence is repeated number of times on this DNA. So this is DNA, whole DNA, this is VNTR sequence, this is VNTR sequence. So this VNTR sequence is repeated on the DNA at many places or at different sites of that DNA, and that portion is used for the DNA fingerprinting analysis. So important question is asked for the NEET point of view, that which part of the DNA is used for the DNA fingerprinting, and the answer is the VNTR sequence, variable number tandem repeats. And this sequence is used because it is unusual bases which are not similar in every individual. VNTR sequence of one person is totally different from the VNTR sequence of the another person, and that's why this region of the DNA is used for the fingerprinting technique. But the portion which is similar in all person is not used for this fingerprinting technique. So it is very important part of this technique. Now here we'll see by which steps this DNA fingerprinting is carried out. There are various steps which are included in this DNA fingerprinting technique, and that we have to see one by one. That is the steps of the DNA fingerprinting. Up to this we have cleared that what is DNA fingerprinting. This DNA fingerprinting technique was first established by the British genetics Alex Jeffrey. This DNA fingerprinting technique was first established by a British genetics, and the name of that British genetics is Alex Jeffrey. So this name of the scientist is also important, that is Alex Jeffrey first discovered this DNA fingerprinting technique. In India, later on, the Lalji Singh was the scientist who also worked out on this DNA fingerprinting, but the first scientist who discovered this technique was the Alex Jeffrey, and which is the British genetics. Okay, so here we will see the different steps of this DNA fingerprinting. This DNA fingerprinting includes number of steps, and in that first step is called as isolation of DNA, because this technique is based on the analysis of the DNA fragment. So you should first isolate the DNA fragment. So first thing is isolation of the DNA. After isolation of the DNA, that DNA should be broken down with the help of enzyme, and the name of that enzyme is called as restriction enzyme, restriction endonuclease enzyme. So second step is the restriction digestion. Second step is the restriction digestion. So with the help of this restriction enzyme, we can digest this DNA. Then the third step of this DNA is called as the gel electrophoresis, because after restriction digestion, the DNA fragments are transferred in one of the important method of the DNA fingerprinting, and that is called as the gel electrophoresis. Then the fourth step is called as the Southern blotting. Fourth step is called as Southern blotting, where you can observe that these DNA fragments can be soaked on a nitrocellulose filter paper or on a nylon membrane. Then next is the addition of, or we can call as a probe DNA. Here probe DNA, what is meant by probe DNA, that we will discuss. That is the probe DNA is added there. Next to it is that the Southern blotting, probe DNA, and then you will find that the hybridization technique will be there. And the last one is called as the photography. Okay, so probe DNA or the sequence of probe DNA. In one you can understand probe DNA. See here students, in DNA fingerprinting, these steps are very important because the sequence is like this. There are all about 7 steps in the DNA fingerprinting process, and you should know the sequence of that process because they are serially steps. Okay, so in the exam also these steps are asked for MCQ in a serial sequence. So first DNA should be collected from a particular source, then that DNA should be broken down with the help of restriction enzyme, then that DNA get passed on the gel electrophoresis technique. After that it is transferred to the Southern blotting technique, then that DNA which is processed by these 4 steps, then in that DNA there will be addition of the new DNA that is called as probe DNA, then that probe DNA and the original DNA get paired with each other, that is called as a hybridization, and last one, the photocopy with the help of X-ray film of that hybridization is called as the photography. Okay, so these are the 7 steps of this DNA fingerprinting. Now we will discuss one by one each step. So first step is called as the isolation of the DNA. So this DNA which we are analyzed in this fingerprinting technique, that should be isolated. So from which sources in the body of living organism or from the body of dead organism we can isolate the DNA. You should know in our textbook there are 3 sources are given, that is any cell or the tissue from which we can extract the DNA, and that can be used for this fingerprinting technique. In our textbook 3 sources are given, that means there are given the blood, root hair, skin. So not only this blood, root hair or the skin are the sources of DNA, but other than it you can also obtain this DNA from the bone, then from the saliva, from the semen that is called as the sexual fluid of the male, from the sperm. So other than this blood, no doubt you can get this DNA from the blood, because any nucleated cell, one thing is there, any nucleated cell, from that you can extract the DNA and you can use it for the DNA fingerprinting. So sources of the DNA are blood, skin, root hair, then the semen, sperm, bone, saliva, etc. These are the sources from which we can obtain this DNA. So it is very important that the DNA is obtained from the various sources, both from living as well as from the dead body. You can obtain this DNA. Second point is that restriction digestion, because we have seen that the DNA of the human being is a double-stranded which is helically coiled around each other. So that DNA for this fingerprinting technique should be converted into the single-stranded DNA, and it should be converted into the small fragment, because the length of DNA is about 2.2 meter long in eukaryotic cell, and that DNA is not sufficient here. You have to collect only the small fragment of DNA, that is the VNTR sequence, and again that VNTR sequence we have to break down into the smaller fragment with the help of this restriction enzyme. So in the second step, restriction digestion. In the second step, restriction digestion means the DNA can be broken down with the help of restriction enzyme, and there are makes the fragments of this DNA of variable size. Fragments of variable size. Variable size means that here you can observe that different length is there of that cut fragments. All the fragments are of not similar in size. They have the variable length. So these fragments are called as restriction fragment length polymorphism. These fragments are called as RFLP. RFLP. Restriction fragment length polymorphism. Restriction fragment length polymorphism. So here another thing is that restriction fragment length polymorphism. These are the fragments which are formed after breaking down the long double-stranded DNA into the smaller fragment. That process is called as the restriction digestion, and that fragments are not similar in size, they are variable in size. Some are smaller in size, some are larger in size, and all these fragments are called as RFLP, restriction fragment length polymorphism. This is the second step in the DNA fingerprinting. Then the next step is that, so here you should know this is a phenomenon, not the name of this fragment. Restriction fragment length polymorphism means it is a phenomenon in which the restriction enzyme break down the long double-stranded DNA molecule which is of the variable size. Okay. Now the third point is that gel electrophoresis. Third point is that gel electrophoresis. What do you mean by this gel electrophoresis? See here, gel electrophoresis is a method. Gel electrophoresis is a method for separation of, the larger macromolecules. See here, larger macromolecules like DNA, proteins, RNA, which has a particular charge on it. Okay, so number of different macromolecules can be separated according to their size, according to their charge, in a method, and that method is called as a gel electrophoresis. In this gel electrophoresis, a particular electric current is applied there. There is both the cathode and anode is there, and the negatively charged particle moves towards the positively charged anode, or the positively charged particle moves towards the negatively charged cathode. So it is a technique, and that is called as the gel electrophoresis. Again, see here, this gel electrophoresis is a technique where the macromolecules like protein, DNA, RNA can be separated according to their size, according to their particular charge on it, and where a particular electric current is applied on that macromolecule, and due to which the particular macromolecule, suppose it is a DNA, can move towards the particular anode, because you know the DNA has a negative charge on it. So this electrophoresis technique where electric current is applied and gel is used here, and that's why it is called as a gel electrophoresis. You know that the gel means the semi-solid material is there, and that jelly-like substances is used here, and that's why this technique is called as a gel electrophoresis. So what happened in this gel electrophoresis? That here we have to see what is meant by gel electrophoresis. So in this second or in this third part in gel electrophoresis, you have to see that here the fragments of the DNA, the fragments of DNA can be separated. Fragments of DNA can be separated according to size, because see here, the smaller fragments of the DNA can move faster than the larger fragment. Suppose this is a technique which we call as a gel electrophoresis. Here there are, this is the DNA fragments which are of variable sizes. These DNA fragments which are negatively charged particles always move toward the positively charged particle, and that is called as the anode. Okay, so here the electrical current is applied on this DNA fragment, and due to this electrical current, this DNA fragment move towards this positively charged anode particle. Here what happened, the DNA fragment of the small size move faster to the positively charged particle than the DNA of the large size. So movement or the migration of this DNA towards this anode depends on the migration of this DNA towards the anode depends on the size of the DNA. It depends on the size of the DNA. So smaller is the size, then fast movement towards the anode, larger is the size, it moves slowly toward the anode. And here in this technique the gel is used, and that's why it is called as a gel electrophoresis. So again see here, what is the purpose of the gel electrophoresis? That is, in the gel electrophoresis, gel is used. Here also electric current is used, and that electrical current is applied on this DNA fragment, and due to that electrical current, negatively charged DNA fragment move towards the positively charged anode particle. And here the movement or the migration of the DNA is like that. Smaller fragments of DNA can move fast towards this anode than the larger particle of DNA. So this migration of the DNA after applying the electrical current on that DNA fragment depends on the size of that DNA, and it is called as a gel electrophoresis technique. In this gel electrophoresis technique, what happens? There will be band formation. There will be band formation. Means what? Here you will see that the size, according to size there will be band. So this smaller DNA fragment DNA form one group. This large fragment of DNA form the another group. Again there will be third group. So here, according to the size of that fragment, these DNA fragments move towards this anode and they form a group, and this is called as a band formation. This similar group of DNA fragment is called as the band formation. So where is the band formation occur in the DNA fingerprinting? This band formation takes place on the gel electrophoresis technique, and where the electric current is applied on that particular fragment. Okay, so it is very important that if the question is asked that band formation takes place in the gel electrophoresis, this is called as a gel electrophoresis, because in this technique or in this method, gel is used as a matrix. Gel is used over all on that technique. Gel is spread over, and on that gel there will be separation of this DNA fragment takes place according to their size. Electrical current is applied there, that's why it is called as a gel electrophoresis. And the important step or important application of this gel electrophoresis is that separation of the DNA fragment according to the size. So the question is asked that in which technique of the DNA fingerprinting separation of the DNA fragment takes place according to their size? The answer is that gel electrophoresis. The answer is that gel electrophoresis. Okay, so this is the third step of the DNA fingerprinting. Then the next step is called as Southern blotting. The next step is called as a Southern blotting. The one of the scientists, that name of that scientist is Edward Southern. Name of that scientist is Edward Southern, who first developed this technique, and due to which the name is given as the Southern blotting. So Edward Southern, the name of scientist, discovered this technique, that's why it is called as Southern blotting. What is the technique used in the Southern blotting? So the bands which are formed in the gel electrophoresis technique, that means a group of DNA according to their size, that is called as a band. That band of DNA get transferred on this Southern blotting technique. So Southern blotting is another technique where there is a paper, and that paper is called as, or that membrane is called as nylon membrane. Nylon membrane or nitrocellulose paper or nitrocellulose paper. So what is there? Here in the Southern blotting technique there is a nylon membrane. Nylon membrane means it acts like a sieve. चाळणीसारखे त्याला छोटे छोटे holes असतात. That is called as a nylon membrane. See the structure of this membrane. Here you will find that small pores are there which acts like a sieve, and from this small pores DNA fragments can be filtered. Okay, so nylon membrane or the nitrocellulose paper, blotting paper, very small pores are there also on this nitrocellulose paper. So what happened here in Southern blotting, there is a gel like the gel electrophoresis, and above that gel there is a one paper. It may be a nylon membrane or it may be nitrocellulose paper. Any one of them can be used in this technique. If the nitrocellulose paper is available, then it is used here, or if there is a nylon membrane, then it is used here, but not both are used in this technique. Okay, any one, either nylon membrane or the nitrocellulose paper is work here. So in the Southern blotting there is a gel on that gel there will be a nylon membrane or the nitrocellulose paper, and on that nitrocellulose paper the bands from the gel electrophoresis get transferred. And see here you will observe that these are the bands of this DNA which are spread on this nylon membrane. Then what happened here in this southern blotting? On that nylon membrane, the DNA bands are transferred. All these DNA bands on this nylon membrane gets soaked, because from this pore the liquid part get drained out, and all these fragments can soak, can get dry on this nylon membrane or the nitrocellulose paper. Here also one thing is there, that in the gel electrophoresis we have seen that the band will be formed, but one thing is also there in gel electrophoresis, that single stranded DNA gets converted or single stranded DNA are formed from the double stranded DNA by the alkali treatment. Not only the fragments of DNA can be separated according to the size in gel electrophoresis, but also in the gel electrophoresis the double stranded DNA gets converted into the single stranded DNA with the help of alkali treatment. Alkali means one of the chemical is there, that chemical denature that double stranded DNA and convert it into the single stranded DNA. So another important question from the gel electrophoresis is that it also has another application, that double stranded DNA gets converted into the single stranded DNA. So all this single stranded DNA which has formed the band on this gel electrophoresis get transferred on the southern blotting. And here on the southern blotting or in the southern blotting there will be gel. On that gel there will be nylon membrane or the nitrocellulose paper, and on that nitrocellulose paper all these single stranded DNA fragments can be spread. Okay, they get soaked because the liquid part of their DNA gets soaked here in this gel on that nylon membrane, and so it is called as the southern blotting. Then the next point is the probe DNA. Probe DNA or the sequence of the probe DNA. Then here on this nitrocellulose membrane where the single stranded DNA can form a band and they get soaked on the paper, and in that nylon membrane there is the addition of the probe DNA. There is the addition of the probe DNA. Then what is mean by probe DNA? Probe DNA, the definition of the probe DNA is that known sequence of DNA. Known sequence of DNA is called as a probe DNA. That means the sequence of that DNA is called as probe DNA. No doubt probe DNA is again the single stranded DNA. Probe DNA is also single stranded DNA, and it has the known sequence of DNA. That means the sequence of DNA from the single stranded or the single stranded DNA has a sequence that can be known to us. That's why it is called as a probe DNA. So this probe DNA which has the known sequence of the DNA can be added in this southern blotting technique or can be added on this nitrocellulose paper. And see here what is the technique developed in this probe DNA. This probe DNA which has the known sequence of the nucleotide, that nucleotide sequence are known to us and are known to person who is analyzing this DNA fingerprinting technique. म्हणजे जो माणूस हे DNA fingerprinting technique करतोय या स्टेपनं त्याला माहित आहे की हा DNA कुणाचा आहे. सिंगल स्ट्रँडेड DNA ज्याचा सिक्वेन्स DNAचा कुणाला माहित आहे, त्या पर्सनला जो हे फिंगरप्रिंटिंग टेक्निक काय करतोय डेव्हलप करतोय, तो तयार करतोय. त्याने आधी DNA आयसोलेट केला, मग डिस्ट्रिक्शनायझेशन केलं, मग जेल इलेक्ट्रोफोरेसिसवर ट्रान्सफर केलं, मग साऊथर्न ब्लॉटिंग केलं, आणि त्याला माहित असलेला DNA कुठल्या माणसाचा आहे, कोणत्या ऑर्गॅनिझमचा तो DNA आहे त्याला माहिती प्रोब DNA. and that probe DNA that person should know because he collected that probe DNA which is again single stranded. He has know the sequence of nucleotide on that DNA because he know the person from which he extracted this probe DNA. त्या कुठल्या माणसाच्या बॉडी मधनं हा प्रोब DNA घेतलेला आहे तो या DNA फिंगरप्रिंटिंग करत असलेल्या माणसाला माहित आहे म्हणून आपण नाव दिलेलं आहे नोन सिक्वेन्स ऑफ DNA. आणि क्वेश्चन असा विचारला जातो बघा की सिंगल स्टँडर्ड DNA or the double standard DNA is called as probe DNA. So single standard DNA is called as the probe DNA. It is collected from an organism or the host. होस्ट म्हणजे काय तर माहीत असलेल्या व्यक्तीकडून किंवा माहीत असलेल्या ऑर्गॅनिझमकडून तो DNA कलेक्ट केला जातो आणि त्यामुळं आपण याला म्हणतोय प्रोब DNA. एक इम्पॉर्टंट थिंग इज असे आहे की दिस प्रोब DNA हॅज और इट इज लेबल बाय रेडिओ ऍक्टिव्ह आयसोटोप. कारण रेडिओ ऍक्टिव्ह आयसोटोपनं या प्रोब DNA ला काय केलेलं असते, लेबल केलेलं पाहायला मिळतं, रेडिओ ऍक्टिव्ह आयसोटोप. बिकॉज we can easily identify our probe DNA when it is transferred on this nitrocellulose paper. Okay, because technique is that this is single stranded DNA which is called as probe DNA. Here on nitrocellulose membrane also there are single stranded DNA. So on that nitrocellulose paper there will be complementary base pairing takes place. That means here there are many probe DNA can be added on this nitrocellulose paper. Okay, so if the sequence of this probe DNA is complementary to the sequence of this any single stranded DNA, then there will be pairing takes place. So here what happen on this technique can be analyzed here. Here there will be formation of the technique, that is the pairing of this probe DNA towards any single strand of the DNA, and that process is called as the hybridization. कळलं का तुम्हाला? बघा, प्रोब DNA असे अनेक असणार आहेत. हे सगळे प्रोब DNA कुठे ऍड केले जातात तर या नायट्रोसेल्युलोज मेम्ब्रेनवर. ओके, आपण बघतोय 5वा पॉइंट प्रोब DNA. प्रोब DNA म्हणजे नोन सिक्वेन्स ऑफ DNA. कुणाला नोन आहे तो जे फिंगरप्रिंटिंगचं टेक्निक अनालिसिस करतो त्या माणसाला, बरोबर आहे. प्रोब DNA ची कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स काय आहे? इट इज अ सिंगल स्टँडर्ड DNA which has a known sequence. Known sequence means that person should be known to this person who is doing this technique. Okay, then second point is that this probe DNA is single stranded and should be labeled by radioactive isotope, because we have to identify which is the probe DNA and which is the DNA from the nitrocellulose paper, which is separated according to the size in the gel electrophoresis. So, okay, so that's why for identification of the probe DNA it should be labeled by the radioactive isotope, and that probe DNA when get added on this nitrocellulose paper, what happen if the sequence of the nucleotide on the probe DNA is complementary to the sequence of the nucleotide on the single stranded DNA which is present on the nitrocellulose paper, then there will be pairing of the DNA takes place. Because in the structure of DNA we have seen in the same chapter that A base pair pairs with T by double hydrogen bond and G base pair pairs with C by the triple hydrogen bond, and like that there will be complementary base pairing. So if this sequence is complementary to the sequence of the DNA strand on the nitrocellulose member, then nitrocellulose paper, then what happens? There will be pairing of these two DNA takes place. One strand is of the probe DNA and another strand is from this nitrocellulose paper's DNA. Okay, and that process is called as the hybridization technique. That is called as a hybridization technique. One thing is given here that probe DNA can be isolated by any organism or it can be isolated by cDNA technique. What is meant by cDNA technique? cDNA stands for complementary DNA. That means the DNA when formed from the RNA by the process of reverse transcription, then that is called as a cDNA. So two methods are there for obtaining the probe DNA. Probe DNA can be obtained from any organism, or probe DNA can be obtained by the cDNA preparation. That is called as a complementary DNA preparation. Okay, and the last one is that photography, because here you will find that the two strands of the DNA get paired towards each other or get paired to each other, and that can be photographed with the help of X-ray film. X-ray film आपण या हायब्रिडचा काय घेऊ शकतो, जे हायब्रिडायझेशन झालेले आहे दोन DNA त्यांचा फोटो घेऊ शकतो, आणि हा फोटो घेतल्यानंतर वी कॅन प्रूव्ह that this DNA fingerprinting technique, because in a court the proof of the DNA fingerprinting is accepted as a final proof. कारण DNA फिंगरप्रिंटिंगचं प्रूफ आपण कधी सांगू शकतो, त्याची फोटोग्राफी घेऊन. आणि अशा प्रकारे जर हा प्रोब DNA आणि हा सिंगल स्टँडर्ड DNA एकमेकांना पेअर झाला तर आपण 100% काय सांगू शकतो, द DNA ऑफ दिस नायट्रोसेल्युलोज पेपर and the DNA of the probe DNA or the DNA of the nitrocellulose paper and the probe DNA is of the same person. Okay, that's why there will be complementary base pairing. If the person is different, then there will be no complementary pairing. If that person is the same, then there will be complementary pairing, and it looks like that, and that is called as hybridization. We can take photograph of it with the help of X-ray filmer, and we can our code can accept it as a final proof. So first we have seen the definition, that identification of a person with the help of restriction analysis. Here person can be identified like this with the help of the DNA fingerprinting technique. So students, here we have seen that this DNA fingerprinting technique is a technique which is first discovered by scientist Alex Jeffrey, which is a British geneticist, and who discovered this DNA fingerprinting technique by different steps, and those steps are here given. Those are the 7 steps, and by these steps we have seen that how this DNA fingerprinting technique is carried out. In the next lecture, the same point will be continued, and in that point we will discuss the different applications of this DNA fingerprinting technique. So it is very important technique for identification of an individual. It may be related to the murder case, it may be related to the any other criminal case, and that identification can be carried out very well with the help of this technique. Okay, thank you.